Deadman Apocalypse. This looks awesome. So, I played the last Deadman mode a little bit until I got killed by a cheater, and I gave up. I didn't like the fact that Deadman reset your account when you died like 3 times. That was crap. But Deadman Apocalypse looks fun. I'm going to briefly read through the blog very quickly and just kind of spread the news to those who don't normally fuck with Deadman mode or know much about it. But Deadman mode is basically a game mode where the entirety of the world is, well, most of the world is PvP outside of a few places like banks. Basically on a PvP world, wherever is safe for the most part. That's the easiest way to summarize it. Give or take a few extra locations. Deadman mode is fun. The problem is it's racketeered and abused by most of the PvP community, which is standard. That's the PvP community in every game. They beg for updates, they beg for content, they beg for Jagex to fix things, and then the first chance they get, they fuck it. By milking it and abusing as many players as possible. So, I mean, look what happened with Bounty Hunter, right? They wanted Bounty Hunter, we need Bounty Hunter content, give us PvP content, and then you've got content creators and PvPers uploading videos of them specking twice, running into the center, name changing, drinking from the pool, going back out there, forcing the other player to skull you by skull tricking them, specking them twice again, getting the kill, loving it, but all you're doing is you're just making the game fucking worse. So this is where all the PKs can go and fuck each other for a good month, and we can enjoy the game and watch everyone rip each other apart. So Deadman Mode Apocalypse is meant to be fun, and it should be fun, because Reborn was pretty good too. Hasn't there been DDoS issue every year at the end? Yes, there has. Every single Deadman Mode final, to my knowledge, has been abused, which makes sense, because it's a cash prize tournament, right? You give people the opportunity to compete with cash prize, people are going to cheat. It's human nature. But they've done something different in this tournament, which is awesome, and we'll get to that. So, without reading through it too hectically, what is Deadman Mode Apocalypse? I don't really care about the lore, but basically, a while ago I suggested the idea that before they fix the wilderness bosses, it would be cool if they introduced world bosses, where they take a boss out of the game from its current location and put it in the world somewhere, and anyone can go fight it, right? Or they make a new boss, anyone can go fight it like a world boss. They're bringing that to Deadman Mode Apocalypse, right? It's still PvP, I'm pretty sure. Yep, PvP anywhere is enabled. And there will be breaches, like a tear in the gap in Gillinor's reality, okay? And breaches can crop out in any dangerous areas in the world, and will spawn single and multi-combat locations. Once the breach appears, boss monsters will begin pouring through into the real world, like General Garage Door could end up in Barbarian Village, or Jad, or King by Dragon. Find themselves wrecking havoc in Barbarian Village, there you go, or skulking in the wilderness north of the Grand Exchange. And you can go fight them along with every other player that's available there. But you could also get PK'd. But to have bosses come out of their caves and into the real world randomly throughout the day, I think is a really cool concept and a really smart idea. And I hope they incorporate this into a league as well, because leagues would be really fun for that. Because people who don't want to do any PvP or are not liking the idea of PvP content are going to miss out on this awesome idea. It's up to you to get these breaches and put the monsters down. Of course, output enough damage and you'll earn yourself a chance at scoring some exclusive, extremely powerful loot, along with vast quantities of regular loot. So obviously you want to go to these breaches, but you don't want to get PK'd. I think the idea is amazing, of course. With these regular breaches, certainly, while these regular breaches certainly need tending to, they're more than manageable for large groups of adventurers. Alarmingly, the Doomsayer believes there will come a time where these breaches burst into being all across Gilnor with absolutely no sign of stopping. So I'd imagine as the longer Deadman Mode Apocalypse goes on, the more breaches there are and the more consistent they get, which means the harder it is for you to get PK'd in a sense, but you still want to be careful. It's kind of like when you go to Rev Caves, you've got the big Rev monster in the middle. Everyone can go and attack it, but you can also get PK'd at the same time. So I think that's really cool. Slightly less dramatic worlds. A few times per day you'll be notified about breaches due to appear in the world. Head over there, fight bosses for a chance of powerful loot, of course. At the finale, breaches will appear all over the place, and monsters will wash over Gilnor's fog, will slowly creep in and force players to the final area. Fight bosses and each other in the final area until you're the last player standing. So by the time you get to the end, you're going to have bosses and players, and you want to be the last one standing. Tell me that doesn't sound badass. Tell me that don't sound good as shit. That is awesome. Screenshot from our first proof of concept playtest for breaches, showing off more kings in a single frame than the entirety of Game of Thrones. That's funny. Unless Season 8 proves us wrong, we've wiped it from our memories, so can't say for sure. Okay, whatever. They've chosen a new direction to go in for this time around, moving emphasis away from the more competitive 1v1 esports style finale, which I think is great because they get nothing but DDoS and rags. And last year they said, we will not be rerunning the finals under any circumstances. Everyone cried because what happened, we knew it was going to happen, so they reran the finals anyway. And they still had issues trying to run it. So, in between the breaches, all the way up to the finale, you'll be progressing by earning XP, chasing loot, eliminating other players, and unlocking sigils. So, some old, some changes, some new sigils, like from Deadman Reborn. Let's dive into deeper, whatever. Okay, cool. So, let's have a look at the grips of Apocalypse. Is there a TLDR here? There's no TLDR, but we're going to skip this crap. We're going to go straight to the tiers. So, let's break down our current plans for each combat bracket. The XP multipliers at these brackets, the gear you receive in starter packs, and the quests you'll auto-unlock at each bracket. These are subject to change, so if you feel like we're off the mark, that's fine. We can get feedback. So basically, as you reach, when you start the game, you'll get 10 times combat multiplier and skilling XP. And your starter pack. Okay? Pretty standard to last year. And these quests, these are the proposed quests to be finished. Sub-quests. That way you don't have to do these quests. You unlock and you go straight into it. You do not get the XP reward for these quests, by the way, guys. So if you want to do anything in the 51 to 70 tier, if you want to do any of these quests beforehand for the XP, go for it, but I don't think it's worth it. Level 71, as soon as you hit level 51 to 70, you just get a new starter pack, and more quests get unlocked. 71 to 90, your combat XP goes up, but 15 times. Another starter pack, and so on. Okay? Same thing at 91, it stays the same. You get another starter pack, stays the same at 11 to 126. So basically, you just get a combat XP multiplier at level 71. That's about it. Does that include prayer? Yeah, I would say it does. Let me have a look here real quick. We've done away with the 3 life system. Awesome, there's no 3 life system. Thank fucking God, because that was horrendous. That was absolutely terrible. You still lose your items on death along with a key with your most valuable bank slots. Unless you're using a sigil of the Guardian Angel, of course. So basically, if you die, the PK that kills you gets a key. And I think they get your 10 most valuable items in your bank, plus what they killed you with. So, in my opinion, if you're going out there, wear your best gear at all time. Be prepared to fight, be prepared to defend yourself, because they're going to get it anyway if they kill you. You may as well go down swinging. Sigils were first introduced in Reborn. Of course, sigils were great fun. I like them. You can get them on the Grand Exchange still, I believe. You're no longer limited to 2 combat sigils. Instead, you'll be able to mix and match combat, skilling, and utility sigils anywhere you'd like, whether it's 3 combat sigils, 1 of each type, or 2 in 1 split. Okay, so you can have 3 sigils at a time, and you can have all 3 as combat sigils if you want, which is awesome. Until we see the sigils, we don't know what they are. I'll have to see if my inside man can give me the inside scoop on the sigils. But, here we go. There's a few utility items here as well. We'll be keeping full details under wraps for now. Keep an eye out over the coming weeks, and we might just share a handful of them with you. There you go. If you had a favorite utility sigil in Deadman Reborn, there's every chance we've made it a utility item instead. Okay. Hold on. So you have utility items. Sorry. Here's a list of our early thoughts for these, including one that's particularly interesting. It sounds like we're setting up another siege. Siege? Segway? Segway. That's how you spell Segway, really? Interesting. So what are utility items? They'll be obtained the exact same way, but you'll use them from your inventory without them without them using up one of your sigil slots. Okay, cool. So utility items sit in your inventory and you can use them from there. That's awesome. Okay, great. We're not going to go through that for now because obviously it's going to change. This is just an example in my opinion. And then you have blighted weapons and merging. We've seen requests over the past couple of years to reset the World 345 permanent Deadman mode. We've had a number of discussions about this in the past. Yep, whatever, who cares? There's a pretty big difference in how Apocalypse will function compared to how 345 functions. We don't care about that. We'd love to hear from all of you what you feel the best way to handle this. I don't care about any of that shit. Okay. Blighted weapons are something we're planning to experiment with for the first time. On obtaining a utility of advanced weaponry, name not final, okay. You'll be able to use it to receive a random blighted weapon. These are versions of pinnacle weapons like Twisted Bow, Dragon Claws, Tunic and Shadow, Scythe, okay? That aim to power you up in the short term. Okay, so that's just a blighted weapon. You can get a T-bow without doing cocks if you are lucky enough. Good. That's awesome. It's to be, and then the normal equivalent of any of these items, such as Twisted Bow from Chamber of Zerk, would allow you to transfer it over. Wait, transfer it where? any blood weapons you have at the end of the season will not be lost. Or will be lost, meaning they won't be merged into permanent Deadman. Okay, if merging is something you'd like us to do. Okay, they want to look at merging, I see. But if you earn the normal equivalent of a Twisted Bow, you can merge it to your Deadman mode account. Okay, I don't care about any of that shit. I don't play Deadman mode. So if you play Deadman mode world, guys, that's for you. You can go back and read that. Point system. Now, this is where it comes to the finale. This is where it becomes interesting, and what I think they've done a good job with. There's a point system. How the points are scored. The points are up for grabs. You'll be able to get them by doing anything. Clue scrolls, combat achievements, achievement diaries, pet hunting, quest points. Literally doing anything will earn you points to some degree. We won't bore you with the specifics at this point, but we just know that more or less any time spent playing, you'll be able to get points. So you don't have to be good at PKing. You can avoid PKing altogether. You can be Hanani like last year, get your max, like get the most total level possible, make it to the finals. That's fine. Has nothing to do with how good you are at PvP, which I think is great, because this starts to feel a bit more like a league, right? It's like a PvP league. But it's kind of been done nicely. Which I want to correct something so someone doesn't do it later on in the comment section like a dweeb. The Deadman mode safe areas are bigger than PvP world safe areas, but PvP world safe areas is just a rough guide of where you can find safe places. But to the best of my knowledge, Deadman mode PvP areas are much wider. Like, it's more than just Lumbridge Bank. It's like Lumbridge Castle, Lumbridge out to the general store and the bridge, you know? So, just to make that clear for everyone. This also gives you other ways to compete with other players. Yep, so you don't have to be good at PKing. You can just play with friends. So this is really good. I think this is going to bring a lot more players to the game mode for sure. Breaches will appear in both single-way combat and multi-combat. So if you're playing solo, you'll be able to score heaps of points. And some lovely loot if you're not ready to contend with organized groups. So does that mean if there's a boss in single-way combat and you get to it first, it's your boss? That's what it looks like to me, at least. You'll be able to see your points at any time, both in game and in the high scores. Awesome. So even if you die, you don't lose points, which is great. And the rewards, it's no longer a 1v1 stage with a big 25,000 pool. Instead, I believe, looking at this, it's $500 will go to whoever dealt the most damage to bosses during the finale on each of the 5 worlds, totaling $2,500. So 5 worlds, if you deal the most damage to the bosses in the finale, you get $500. 500 go to the last surviving player at the end of the finale on each world. And then there's 20 grand split up between, it's a $25,000 prize pool. That's where 5 grand's going, all right? 20 grand will go across $500 rewards. The top 25 players, 5 randomly selected. So you could be top 25 and you might not get something if you're number 1. That's cool. Dragon tier, top 15 people get 500 each, randomly selected. Rune tier, 12 randomly selected winners. And Adamant tier, 8 randomly selected winners get $500. Now, you might not like the idea of that. There is no grand prize for winning. Instead, there's a $500 prize randomly selected across each tier. And I think that is better. You know why I think that's better? Because that means there's less opportunity for people to cheese it, less opportunity for people to cheat, less opportunity for people to want to DDoS. And that means that people who don't want to PvP, people that want to get involved, can get involved without worrying about people trying to grab at them and PK them. Could you just keep going and earning points? I think this is awesome. This is more inclusive. This is smarter. I like it. I think Jagex is taking a good approach here. Very good approach. This is like PKs or PvPers might not like this idea. If they don't, they're idiots and they don't understand the concept of, you know, having an inclusive game that they want to have survive. I doubt that many of them will have a problem with it, but you never know. But for the most part, I think this is smart, and the way that they've handed out or organized the final, at least this example here, is really good. Randomly selected by Marble Race, of course. Of course, it'd be a Marble Race, because we know if Motto uses randomly selecting people, my name comes up, he's putting that back in the bin. Yeah, that's pretty much Deadman Mode Apocalypse in a nutshell, guys. I don't think there's anything more I need to say on it, by the looks of it. That's a quick rundown. What do we got here? Progress through higher combat. Okay, so this is a quick recap. We'll go through the recap quickly. Deadman Apocalypse is a brand new Deadman Mode season, which pits adventurers against hordes of bosses and each other in brutal breaches. Awesome. Play away and earn points in a brand new achievement system, where you're rewarded for progressing however you please. Progress through the higher combat bracket worlds in increased XP rates for increased rewards and automatic quest unlocks, or stick to a limited build and become infamous by dominating lower brackets. So you saw those brackets we were talking about earlier. As you level up, you have to go to a different world. You can't play in the same world you were already playing on. That way you can't get ragged by level 120s when you're level 30. Death is not the end. We've removed the 3 life system, which is awesome, and introduced improved starter packs to help you get back on your feet no matter what your combat bracket is. That's awesome. Defeat NPCs or trade other players via Grand Exchange to earn powerful sigils. Sigils provide game-changing effects. Awesome. And utilities allow you to customize your loadout to experience familiar content in fresh ways. Keep an eye out for breaches for the hordes of bosses. This will make you take out the boss for... We take out the boss opponents and incredible loot, or take out other players at the breach for their loot instead. I might go for a bit of PKing, you never know. Wrestle with mortality and fight to become the last player standing. Win real life cash prizes for being the last survivor, dealing the most damage during the finale, or being entered into the raffle, depending on how many points you've earned. The world literally ends, there's no escaping it. Luckily for you, your character will be merged into a permanent Deadman mode world 345, and it's able to participate in permanent Deadman mode renaissance, or wait till our next Deadman mode seasonal. There you go. So after this, if you're enjoying the account you made, you can go to World 345 and continue playing the account. Because everything that's not blighted, I believe, will be pushed over. So if you go get a T-bow, you have a T-bow on Deadman mode world now, which is awesome. Deadman mode looks good. Apocalypse. I think everyone's going to want to play it. A lot of you guys should play it if you get the chance. Don't know when it's going to be, but I'm going to make some serious content out of it. We're going to be streaming a lot of Deadman Apocalypse. I think that's going to be really fun to play. This is the easiest room in the raid. It's quite simple. You got a big boy. Look at him. God damn. Fuck me. Look at that boy. It's huge. You got a big boy.